Okay. Classic. Happy to be here and happy to see Scott's Sword brought low. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see. Look, I just want a non-Scott Sword person to win the tournament, and if it's Mistergreen, Mr. Green deserves a win. Okay, it just can't be Scott Sword. I'm fine with anybody else, just not him. And if it wasn't me, that would actually also be okay, but not Scott Sword specifically. He can't win two of these things. I would be able to see his head from across the pond. Not allowed. We have to stop him anyhow. And Mr. Green, I think, has a good chance of doing that. He's done it in the past, at least. Uh, I'm sure people can go out there and find the info if they're willing to look for it. Or maybe they just have notifications on for your channel and then they'll see it. Or they'll subscribe to the Fear of Dracula channels and they'll just see it when a stream pops up, maybe. I do think it's interesting these two people playing each other again because I know you're in their group group this phase, but I was actually in a group with them last phase, and I believe that I think it was Mr. Green. I think Mr. Green won as Hunters against Scottsword. I think Scottsword beat him as Dracula, but it was close. Or Scottsword beat him as Hunters, but it was a close game. So I'm excited to see the rematch today and tomorrow. Mm. It's not over yet, Roscoe. Give me a chance. Yeah, every once in a while, people they just want to lurk. They just want to hang out. They just want to watch a game. He wants to have it on the television. He's hanging out. It's good to see him. Happy to see him here. That would be your earliest chance. So funny. Okay. Well, Mina's revealed excellent weather and holy bullets. That's pretty exciting. Yay. Slightly above average Dracula events are getting drawn because I think they're counting this top one. That's 6 out of the top 9. Top 8. Well, okay. Right. If we count this top one that we're seeing right now, at 6 out of I would say 6 out of, or 5 out of 9. 5 out of 9. Yeah. So I feel like a hoax. If I was Dracula looking at that, a hoax would look pretty cool. He checked Amsterdam, but it's not there. Right? It's also not Bari. Do you ally Harker? I guess it depends on whether you have surprising return or not. To Athens. Oh, I forgot he had Agatha. You're right. Hmm. Mm-hmm. All 3 allies in the top 15 cards. Yeah. No Ireland to start. Mr. Green Snowdian. Evil presence? No. Well, that rules out in England start if he hid in Edinburgh. It's possible he didn't hide in Edinburgh, he just moved to 32, and then that wouldn't revealed him with Van Helsing. It's interesting. He checked like Italy, he checked Athens, he checked Ireland. I mean, that leaves like a central start. That's true. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It actually, unless you're going by the same distance as the Bari. So, yeah, makes sense. Mhm. I would have thought that was Ireland, but Ireland got checked, so I'm confused. Maybe he did go to Bari later, and now he's like seeing to Bologna. Like he went put encounter in Naples, or like put encounter in Rome, move to Naples, move to Bari, leave, or like go to Naples, rumor, hide, go to Bari, leave. That's what I'd be thinking right now. I'm trying to think about what other crossings make sense. Unless he was like in England and now he's like he went, I don't know, like encounter in Liverpool or mm, could be Barcelona, possibly. The early C move is interesting. There was someone who used to play like that. I mean, I think Werekraft did it for a while, but people who just like did early C movement as Dracula. I've never been a huge fan of it, but I mean, I've seen people use it to great success. I've been beaten by this strategy, so I wouldn't count it out. I don't think it's a bad move by any means. Exactly, Italy wasn't in Bari, like you said, went to Naples instead. Interesting. It's a good whack cylinders. I think it's pretty. I mean, the way he rumor token and then moved one and then left. I think a hide made a lot of sense. Um, Mhm. Suppose it's technically possible he went to Rome, but unlikely. I guess Rome might protect his encounter more. Like if he wanted to put like a bat or something in there just to protect it, but well, he might assume like you that he left from Bari and then think that Rome is safe. But we'll see. I think Bari is most likely like you. I'm just trying to look at all the possibilities, but I think Rome or not Rome. I think Bari makes the most sense. Interesting that Mina and Godalming are trading. Looks like maybe she gave him the stake and, or maybe she. I wonder if he'll use excellent weather to get over there. I guess maybe it's a little bit too late. Hmm. I mean, I suppose it's possible. I guess he wants to get to Naples, right? He could, I guess, rail to 25 and then move from 25 to Naples with the excellent weather. Imagine if he had left from Rome and then landed in Genoa. Okay, he didn't do that. He went Bari to Villa. It's fine. I just think that would have been so crazy if he left from Rome, lands in Genoa, someone like, especially if like Mina had railed onto him. Oh, that would have been funny, but it didn't happen. I think this is good though, right? I mean, he's kind of splitting them in that with that the Adriatic Sea, right? Because the people who are going to be in the east are now going west to deal with the encounters, which I feel like is where you want to be as Dracula, right? Like you said, maybe he's supposed to give up on Mercury and just go east. I'm not sure. I think Dracula's made some space for himself though. I like that. Look, it's fine. He puts enough Dracula events there to make it look reasonable, right? It's like, sure, I'll get CG and renewed vigor, but I also am gonna get like 10 Dracula events, so they'll know that it's not really attack. Okay, Mina is moving down to try to block him a little bit. Ooh, that is interesting. Right? Because if you wolf form here, Mina probably doesn't want to actually check 59, so she might move back to Munich to block it. And then if she does that and you didn't actually go west, that's pretty massive. On the other hand, Scotsword might see that and just like supply with Mina instead, and then your wolf form. Oh, that's true. I think Godalming is kind of committed. I feel like the problem with that though is that the Scott Sword already put Godalming south. I feel like he's gonna not want to move him back north. Like he's already kind of spent a day action moving him towards Naples. I don't know if he'll be deterred by a simple wolf form, but maybe he would. Yeah, some obfuscation for sure. Looks like he's moving one turn, probably in Sophia, right? Oh. There's a bats here. This could be pretty bad, or a fog even. Does Godalming have a forewarned? Yeah, he does. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't think Scott Sword would have sent him in with sense of emergency unless he had a forewarned. 7 points is a lot. Oh, does she have? She has a planned ambush, I suppose. Right? Does she also have like heroic elite? This seems very very risky. I guess he has Agatha, so maybe he's okay about taking this fight. Well, he's not going to heal off this combat, right? I think that's a big worry when you go into the 1v1s with Dracula. Is he actually going to gain health off of that fight? That's not going to happen here. 3 damage. That's big on Mina. She has 9, right? So going from 9 to 6 is essentially like 2 instances of 2 damage. That's pretty big if she doesn't discard anything. It's got a holy bullet that she was the third holy bullets that she was holding on to. He's thinking about it. I see why he is though, right? Because if you discard one item, that saves you goes from 6 to 7, right? And 7 is a lot better than 6. Yeah, he's thinking. So what must set? Because he's not discarding the horse, right? So what is his thing? I just think it's interesting you didn't ambush with a vampire in Naples. Like, if that's a fighter vampire, do you think he can bait Scotsword into not using his stake because he thinks it's aristocratic? He'll probably just use the stake no matter what. But I think it'd be cool if, because I feel like sometimes people won't stake because they think they know for sure it's aristocratic. I think that could be a thing.
Okay.
I'd like to see that behavior punished at some
Whoops.
point.
Thanks for alerting me to that, Gyro. Apparently, apparently my mic was muted to them. Whoopsies.
Oh,
Sorry about that, folks. But yeah, I definitely. Unless you've got some real good stuff, I definitely question the wisdom of it. First of all, the wisdom of going to Naples to, and yes, it prevents 6, maybe 7 points. In fact, more likely 7 points.
mm-hmm.
But also doing this combat.
Maybe he hoped that he didn't actually go to Sophia, right? Because if he went to Salonika here and you moved to Sophia, he's kind of forced to wolf form. And wolf form from Salonika is not great.
Chose not
Okay,
to
so
discard.
it's hard to supply up in the east, right? He doesn't want to like be sitting there
Yes,
trying to
but
supply in
but
Bucharest.
okay,
Oh,
it's heroic leap. But what if he feeds now?
yeah. I mean, he just might feed and try to kill Mina. She's at 2. She's at 1 HP, right? I mean, you hit him with a ham
Yeah,
sandwich. Okay, he did use the stake. I think that was good by Mr. Green not to ambush though, because if there is like a 5% chance he doesn't use the stake there, you might get away with getting your points.
yeah.
He probably always stakes, but maybe there's a chance he wants the stake for, I don't know, like barrier, like he wants to keep it for some reason.
Or you
Super
bait him,
unlikely to
or
do
you
that.
bait him into to getting delayed by an aristocratic, or at least so he thinks. Uh, yeah,
think if he doesn't use the stake,
I question the wisdom of doing that heroic leap.
I mean, he's got to now, right? He's not gonna fight Dracula with Mina.
I I suppose what I really question is going to Sophia in the first place, and not just going to Valona to take out the trail.
I mean, he's got time to get Bologna, and I suppose that the nice thing that is that if Dracula tries to kill Mina, she does have a planned ambush, so she can
That is
kind of manipulate
true.
the fight a little bit.
So, yeah, unless she just happens to not have a way to block, I mean, she can always dodge the first round to dodge whatever he throws at her. If it's some form of attack, but
Yeah, the issue is
that is
that
precisely why I might start with a mesmerize. Uh,
I might start with an attack card, but I guess you might, if you depending on what your hand is, you might have that many attack cards. You might want to save them for when you think she's actually going to escape, because the mesmerize does prevent her from escaping in the first round at least. But if she has like a heavenly
well,
ghost that could backfire pretty badly.
well, the thing is that playing an attack card also prevents her from escaping in this case.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. I might play one of those. It just depends on how many of them you have in your hand, right? If you only have one, you might want to play a mesmerize instead.
Yeah. So this is definitely a good question for Drac. Do you go for a kill or not?
I kind of like the feed here. I kind of like it because he's. I mean, I feel like he's gonna want to
I
feed at
might
8.
I might consider doing a wolf form up to Zagreb, make it up there while Glaming's still busy down here with Bari.
What about going to the castle right now?
Huh. I mean, since there is always the question of CG, and while of course it can't affect the places closest to the castle, it can still box you in.
Well, sure, but he could move to something like, I don't know, 22, and then wolf form to 17. And even if, like, let's say he's in 22 and they throw down CG on Bucharest.
Not if it, yeah. I was saying thing that they would throw down the primary thing on Bucharest.
Maybe you go to 28 in that case. You like move through you go through Bucharest now, and then you leave through 28, and then you can wolf form to 17 if they don't block it. And if they do, you can still wolf form like back west.
Hmm.
I don't know. Just 8 HP is not a lot. I guess maybe what did Mina do today? Did she supplied and healed? That makes sense. 8 HP is not a lot, and if he's gonna have to leave by sea, which it feels like he probably will, because I think that Seward and Godalming are gonna kind of try to stop him from going over land. I guess Godalming is gonna have to deal with Bari today.
Yeah, unless he wants to risk a hoax, which is definitely not the most advisable thing. Especially now that he's already spent a forewarned. Okay.
It's like Seward's hightailing it to the east using those famous rail lines. Oh, although that is a poor move. I guess in this case it doesn't matter a huge amount because of the yellow train rails. Like you can rail to Vienna.
Yeah. Yeah, if he didn't have a yellow too, that's as far as he can get.
Nina has started day resting.
Well, yeah, because she was down at 1 hit equals death at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Spy?
Did he get another stake? Oh, he spent a turn supplying. That makes sense.
Oh, money trail.
That is
Well,
good to know
now.
about.
Yeah.
Heavenly Hope.
Also a horse. We hadn't seen that
Could have had a
quite
white
yet.
one.
Yeah, we hadn't seen the horse quite yet.
Mm-hmm. This is good. I like that spy a lot for Mr. Green. Knowing about money trail is huge. Knowing that, I mean, potentially messing with his horse economy right now, just when he wants to start using it, is pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess he's probably gonna use Mina to get Valona, unless he wants to like kind of see where Dracula's going, like check 49 tomorrow maybe.
Well,
Dracula's not 49 anymore probably.
Godalming was holding an excellent weather, was he not?
Not anymore. Blood transfusion and a money trail right now. I guess it's possible Van Helsing.
Nope, he went castle.
Did go castle.
I hope he did so via Belgrade Klausenberg. As that is definitely the best way to go about it. In my opinion.
He wants to like be a way to minimize CG risk. Maybe he wants to leave through Klausenberg so that he can then if the wolf forming east block comes to wolf one last. Because if he does go to 22, and he can't wolf him out of Bucharest, it's pretty bad for him. I guess it just depends on whether he thinks they have CG or not. But 5 HP is a lot. That means now he can kind of leave by sea. And he did, in fact, go Belgrade Klausenberg.
Yeah. So...
The issue is now, if he wolf forms out of Galatz, right? Everywhere he would wolf form to is on his trail, except for 17.
Well, yeah.
And Szeged. Okay, never mind. Szeged and Budapest are open. But he can't go to Belgrade, he can't go to Sofia.
I mean, there's always the option to misdirect one. Most likely Sofia.
Okay, that's true. I could see misdirecting Sofia.
Since they already cleared the encounter.
And with Valona and the sea space going off the trail soon, he could maybe go back there after he layers it. Like, that could be a decent way to go. Or just go to Salonika. I mean, like, if you wolf form to Sofia and then you get found, you can still go to 2 different seaports, or you can start going over land. Although I think the overland route is pretty risky with 3 of them over there.
Yes, but... the thing is, sometimes the way to win is by doing the stupidest thing, in a certain sense.
The thing with the highest risk of, like, if you get found, you're dead. I mean, yeah, I think risks have to be taken, for sure. I don't think there's a world for safe Draculas anymore. I think that we have to take risks, and just because they don't always pay out doesn't mean they're not worth taking. I think that a lot of people will not take a risk, and by not taking a risk, like, they will see risks and they won't take them. And by doing that, they're just, instead of immediately, they're sacrificing the long term for the short term, right? Like, if they don't take the risk, can they win? And I think that's a question people should be asking themselves more. Like, look at the line, look at how the game is going to play out. Look at there's a lot of different lines that the game can take. But, like, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're hunters and you need CG to win. And you look out, and if you don't get CG, you have no chance of winning. Even if 95% of the time when you night supply, you're not going to get CG, by night supplying, you are giving yourself a 5% chance of victory that you wouldn't have had otherwise. I think that is the way you have to look at it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not as black and white as that. You can obviously have chances, like, depending on what the game state is, maybe you can win without CG. But, like, if you're in a situation where you don't have either Rune Vigor, you don't have CG, you need one of those 3 cards, sometimes you got Night Supply. And it's not always going to work out. You're going to Night Supply and you're going to get them Darkness Returns. And that's going to happen. But I
Okay.
don't think that means the Vigor was wrong.
Went to Galatz. Remain Klassenberg.
You could have hidden Dracula, Castle Dracula, right? Can the hide be used there?
True. That is true.
I don't think he would, but...
Yeah, I kind of doubt he would, but... I mean, there is a reasonable sized trail here.
Well, there's a point. If they do try to block off the castle with their bodies, they're not getting the trail.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just gonna supply. Yeah, that makes sense. Discarding a knife?
Whoa.
She's got a good hand.
That's...
Maybe she already had a...
That makes me think that she drew a Heavenly Host and that he does have CG.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's going on.
I mean, today's the day to play it, right? Otherwise, he'll just wolf form to 17. Oh.
Well, I suppose it's for the best, considering that otherwise I was going to go on 10 and he was going to move there.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't hide. But good to check, just in case.
Yeah.
I think Wakajic said it really well. We had a game, our tournament, or like the game to determine who won the last league, and I think that he made a play that everybody at the time was like, "That's super risky. You shouldn't have done it." He was really eloquent, and he explained himself after the fact, and I found his reasoning very logical. Like I agreed with what he was saying. Like if he's in the position where he thinks he can't win, unless he takes the risk now and hopes that I don't have it, then he should take the risk, even if it means he loses otherwise, because he thinks it's like the slow death versus the immediate death. Especially if you think they're more likely to have it later, right? Because the earlier you take the risk, the less likely they are to actually have the thing if they get less supplies. But I'm going to stop beating the dead horse and focus on this game. And I think Dracula's wolf forming to 17 today. That's my guess.
I might do a hide card just because.
Wolf form hide?
No. That would be just ridiculous.
Because we all know he's in 22 right now. Like if we figured it out, Scottsword figured it out. I guess the only question is, does he misdirect Sophia before he wolf forms?
Or does he want it as a lair instead?
Right. He's used a fog, so he probably wants to get that fog back if possible.
Yeah, and the thing is that Glong will still be confined there when he potentially wolf forms there.
You mean like wolf forms Sophia and then moves into Valona where Godalming is?
No, he hides first, then makes Sophia a lair.
And wolf forms to it.
Yeah.
Could work. I feel like you get a lot of element of surprise here.
Okay, there's the wolf form.
Not misdirecting Sophia. Okay. So 11, 53, or 17?
Yep. Oh.
It was 17.
Yep.
That's a good draw. I mean, 17 was most likely anyway, but now John Street might chart carriage there. Okay, he's not doing that.
It would have to be that very specific card, so that wasn't the most likely. Newspaper?
Like,
lol.
Newspaper on Castle Dracula. I feel like he might have been hesitant to do it if he wasn't sure he was there, but if we knew for sure he was there, maybe he would use card carriage. But he didn't have it, that's fine. It does Mina's surely not going to charge him one-on-one again. That would be insane.
Not with only a plant ambush. I know. I seriously doubt it.
She's just going to supply, right? I mean, maybe he doesn't want to supply on her if her hand is so good. Maybe he's looking for a specific item for somebody, like that third horse, maybe.
And perhaps that's what made him discard the knife.
Ooh, that would, yeah, because I mean, but if she did that, she definitely wouldn't want to go after Dracula, and yet she's moving away, dealing with the trails. Now Dracula doesn't even have to go to C, right? He could go to 56 and probably still be fine because
Yeah.
fogs. He could even go to Bucharest if he's insane. I think that's unlikely.
Unlikely, but possible.
Yeah, I think 56 makes a lot of sense. Because then, even if for some reason maybe the situation changes and he thinks he can go to Sophia, then he'll be able to go to Sophia. Although I think he'll probably just go to C because Sophia seems really risky because at that point, Good Omen will be out of his fog. He will have cleaned his glasses enough to actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
Gonna search this encounter? She has to, right? If she doesn't search it today.
They have one more day.
Alright, but who's gonna get it tomorrow if she doesn't get it? Okay. You better hope she isn't like carrying double horse. Okay, she's got it. So she discarded a knife, she still had a knife.
Yeah, but the third card could still be the last horse. Is the thing.
It's possible she had two knives and she drew a third one, right? Like that's happened.
True.
I agree with what Jay was saying. Trey's talking about Dracula being an insurance adjuster. It's all about risk management. I agree. This game is risk management.
Yep. On both ends.
What encounters can you let mature, right? Because if you just blindly go after all of them, there's going to be some times where you don't actually need to do that, where it's not the right call.
I might actually have gone to C right now, for the reason that I can do it while Glaming is fogged. I can get a hit, and there's enough trail to keep them busy for a bit.
Mistergreen's thinking about it. I guess I'm of the opinion that if you can put down more trail and make them stay here longer, that is better. Because time is passing and making land moves is pretty good. I think making land moves is better than making C moves generically, especially when it's so safe like this, right? Like going to Varna, if Mina wasn't gonna jump on him yesterday, she's not jumping on him today when he's in Varna. Like she'd have to roll horses to get there. Wait, does she even have? Oh, she does have.
Yeah,
Horses. Yeah, she moved into. She have to roll horses to get there.
That's
I think
in fact what she should.
I think their economy got messed up by that spot. I think that's why Mina, like, they've just been sitting and supplying, so I think they've been trying to fix the horse economy.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I suppose I haven't been paying the most attention, but I don't think we've been seeing the most ticket drawing.
They ticketed immediately afterward, but I don't know if they're still ticketing.
Yeah, so I think they may have repaired the damage rather fast.
Well, if it was one white one, it's not that hard to fish out one white one.
Yeah.
I mean, I say it's not that hard. It's as hard as the deck chooses to make it on that particular day. It's really hard.
True enough.
He's really thinking about it.
Yep. That he is.
I do suppose you're right in that if he's going to, like, if he goes to C now, and Seward has to go to deal with 28 because he's the one with the stake, that would be pretty good. I guess the question is, does Mr. Green think that Seward is the one who's going to deal with that vampire? Because if Seward just moves west immediately, I feel like you lose a bit of tempo if you go to sea now.
Yeah. Yeah, and also there's the fact that if you wait any day longer, Gulong will already be quite possibly horsing to Zagreb next turn. Well, not next turn, but as soon as you'll get to move as far as if you leave now, you'll get to be in the Ionian Sea by the time he moves. Basically, might want to take what head start you can get, but he has elected to make a land move.
That's because he might like get his if he can stay on land long enough, he might get his wolf form back in time to like wolf form in the med if he can stay one more day. That's not the most useful.
No, it isn't.
It looks like Seward is coming to deal with 28. I guess he's going with the stake.
I mean, and or he doesn't want me to handle everything. After all, practically all the trail is packed up in that little pocket up there at this point.
Well, I guess we know Mina doesn't have a stake. I guess we don't know Mina doesn't have a stake. I don't think she has a stake. She could have one though. She didn't reveal it on Belgrade. That would have been pretty bad if it was a vampire. Can you hide on Varna today? Is that possible?
I think possibly he may have hidden on Constanta.
Well, if you hit in Constanta, I think you gotta leave today, because I don't think that you can move to Varna and not have a hide card to protect you.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you're in Varna and you hide, they might move into you with like Godalming, and if they do that because they hope that maybe you don't have a hide card there, I think the 1v1 isn't so bad. But I mean, you could even move back to like Seward is guaranteed to go after this rumor token. You could like go back to Sophia today, maybe. And what like is Godalming gonna jump on you with Mina? Maybe. But Seward is gonna have to go for this rumor token, or okay, he's going to see. It's fine. That makes sense. I really hope you went to Varna though, just for more trail rather than the hide card.
And either one is okay, but I agree that Varna. I mean, it depends. It kind of depends on what is at Constanta. Like if that's like a backup vamp or a hoax, maybe he wants to lay down a fog to help protect it a little. And if it is on the other hand just a kind of like trash encounter thrown down to get wiped by this rumor token, as potentially, then I think that it would be definitely be better if if he spread out. There goes the last holy bullets.
Yep. I don't think you want holy bullets on Van Helsing very often.
No.
Looks like he's going back to start dealing with the trail. Didn't hide in Constanta, I like that.
Yeah.
I think if it's a vampire, you don't ambush. You want that night fight really bad. And there's a chance Scotsword might give it to you if you don't ambush. Not a great chance. Chance nonetheless. Oh? I guess Reckless, you want points off the Reckless?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, plus you kind of want to bait out the planned ambush.
He's thinking about it.
Yep. The other thing is that a hypnosis I'm seeing? Yep.
Good for Dracula too. Ooh, she
Yeah.
definitely hosts her, the vampire.
If she has one, which I'm not sure that she does.
True.
But
Yeah.
she does. Okay, so that's a dead reckless.
Dex about to reshuffle too.
Yeah, that was that planned ambush definitely paid off. Yeah, I likely would have opened with fangs so long as I had the option.
Yeah, we don't know we had in hand. Maybe mesmerize. Maybe that mesmerize was the best part you could play, right? To try to get him
Yeah.
do the thing, because if that also means he can't escape, right? The mesmerize blocked like the escape play.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice.
Bait. It was a bait.
Is there a hoax in Castle Dracula? I would not be so shocked if there was like something, because it's hard to get to. A bat's before on the trail. It smells like a hoax to me.
Quite possibly. And we haven't seen any of them so far. How many Dracovans are there in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 so far.
And if he wasn't under threat, he would have no reason to put in a defensive encounter in Dracula. They weren't going to go after him there. They were going to wait until he went to like Galatz or after his wolf form, probably.
Yeah, Galatz maybe he put something like perhaps a wolves or a vampire. But
it is. I mean, could you imagine what is better than Dracula like plotting and hoaxing in his own house? I feel like it makes a lot of sense from a narrative standpoint.
yeah.
Greg is going to see probably at least one more day.
I tend to agree there. Most likely going Turanian, because all these heavenly hosts being about smells like a CG.
Push him into Belgrade.
Although the fact that Mina was willing to spend hers like that makes it smell a bit less like one.
Well, she really wanted to get out of that fight, right? If she doesn't use it there, she's then in the fight next round. Like, there might be an argument that even if you have CG, you use it because the X about to reshuffle.
Yeah.
But it does mean that if he like lands today, the CG will be less effective if he lands today, which is nice.
Shoving into glass, which has a mob.
Is there a vampire in Dracula? Is he gonna mature a vampire there?
I mean, we're gonna find out. Unless me.
Yeah, because why would you push him into the? He was probably gonna go there anyway, or like Mina was. So why push him there unless you're gonna lose that encounter anyway?
Well, yeah, that is, and it's possible I wanted to have it be done on Seward since Mina was down to 2 items, and therefore it was almost irrelevant. And Seward, of course, has the extra card, so it's a little bit more effective on him than any other hunter. So it's possible So it's possible that
just wanted to get him away. Sorry, go ahead.
So maybe it's simply, he wanted the correct target per se.
It does also heal twice as fast, right? That kind of counteracts it in the long run if you're not planning to pounce on him immediately. And I feel like Dracula in this position is not planning to fight Seward anytime soon.
Alright, let's see what it is.
I mean, it could also be push him to Glass just because it's farther away and his movement is bad, and you just want him to be further away.
That's also true. Aristocratic, so yes, it was a vampire.
Yeah, that makes the Glass move make a lot of sense. And now we can wolf form, right?
Yes, but it's from Ionian Sea. Do you really
Well,
think
not
he'll
today,
do that?
but, like, he could do it tomorrow or like in Med, and he couldn't do it tomorrow or in Med if he didn't get that vampire mature. It was gonna be a day.
Yeah, so that was definitely well played by MG, as Scotsor is saying.
What's on the board?
Yeah, there was Addict just resting in leisure at the castle. And the only problem is now there's only sea on the trail.
Yeah, they'll land soon. And they all gotta move, right? They gotta go. And there's even a chance he can go back into the east, maybe. I guess because he knows they have the money trail, that is unlikely. And the hypnosis, for that matter. Like, the sneak
Yeah.
is less effective when you know they have those cards.
I think that he'll likely just do a wolf form to Venice? Sense of emergency. Whoa.
I mean, he's trying to get west as fast as he can, and he heals twice as fast. So, I mean, he'll heal to 5 tonight.
Yeah.
Because Dracula's already committed, right? He's either in the Tyranian or he's in the Adriatic. So moving a lot west now, his decision's already made, right? He can't go back east if he didn't already decide to do that.
Yeah, though if he is in Adriatic, on the other hand, I imagine that Gul'dan will use the money trail tonight. Just to make sure. And then if someone else is holding CG, he might blockade Valona, prevent him from going back there. Yeah. Okay, so it is Tyranian.
The issue is Van Helsing's holding down Marseille. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd want to win Marseille here, and we can't. Well, we could, but it would be bad. What a surprise. I think Adriatic was possible there. I think that's still
yes, risky but possible.
Because if you don't money trail any wolf formers tomorrow, do you feel comfortable with moving all your people, or do you need to like hypnosis or like money trail to be sure? And then if you're gonna do it as a day action, you're not moving that day. I think this is pretty good. I don't think the hunters lose a lot by doing it a day early.
I think that's possibly what he should do is wolf form to Bari. I know that that may sound bizarre, but
I guess Adriatic isn't on the trail.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And then you can go back to your string of layers over.
If you're even super risky, you could just land in Naples and hope they don't have CG.
That would just be overdoing it. I do not think.
The problem is if you wolf from Nabari, what are you gonna do? Like you wolf from Nabari and then you're gonna hide there, and then you're gonna like feed there, and then they're gonna know you're in Bari because you're feeding. Like what is the long-term plan of going to Bari? Is it just to go back to the east?
Yeah, because in order for them, yeah, I suppose that makes sense. They know that you went to Tyranian, so yeah, aim for Spain is quite possibly the correct move.
Because if they take the time to stop and hypnosis you, that means that they're not moving towards Spain that day. Like that would be a significant expenditure of time on their part. And he's supplying with Seward. What is he supplying for? Maybe he just doesn't have a good ticket today, right? And he's gonna get
possibly the heavenly host that may have spent.
Yeah, but you're so unlikely to get it. I mean, I guess I don't know. What's he moving? Get into Spain, I suppose, maybe 48. Yeah, that makes sense. His ticket economy is pretty good.
Yeah, so it seems. Okay.
I will admit, going from 6 to 53 confused me, but just because the game took that route to get to 59, I was a little bit confused. But it's okay.
Now, wouldn't it be something if he now did a wolf form to Genoa?
I mean, right, but I feel like that's really bad. How does he get out of there? I mean, I guess he has to go Venice to Adriatic, but I feel like Seward's gonna rail to Genoa today.
Maybe, but he may just go by horse because that is Uh,
Horse on Seward?
yeah, he was using it. I'm pretty
What
sure.
was he? I
Well,
feel
or
like
no,
he
Van
regular
Helsing.
moved all the way to Klausenberg and then used
No,
that
Van
sword.
Helsing has it. Yeah, that's right. You're right there. Uh, so in that case, I probably would go Geneva right now because that leaves Genoa as a possibility if they choose to hang back in Hypnosis. With Mina and Seward. I think that what I would do is quite possibly have a Seward go to Venice and then scan Italy, since Mina can only go so far. Uh,
Mhm.
this turn. So I think that going to Venice might actually be what Scotsword does with Seward.
He might want to scan like Italy. I mean, I guess with Seward, he might go to Venice. He might want to scan Italy with Mina.
Yeah, precisely what I'm getting at. Which is why he might not go to Genoa, which means that he won't rule out either Geneva or Genoa unless he sends Guglielmo there. And that's time that he's not going to Spain. Ooh, well then,
Go.
that's
He'll be able to search
interesting.
a lot. You hope he's in Spain now that he's played that, because if he's not in Spain, I feel he's gonna get found.
Oh,
That's a
so the
bad
horse.
roll.
In that case, I just checked Genoa real quick.
Yeah, you can still check 60 or 24. Okay, he's not doing that. Maybe he thinks if he's in 60 or 24, we'll have time to get him anyway, right? The scary spots are like the where he can get to a port next turn, like Madrid maybe for example.
Yeah.
The Wolfram to Madrid is a common strategy. And he used it.
Yeah, but net for 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then again, keep in mind that's Van Helsing's first move, and he has a horse. So he can actually get off of that space to avoid the Dusk fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I suppose they have no heroic lethal, and they've used another planned ambushes already, so there's a chance they don't actually have a good combat event, even though they've
Yeah,
done a good job of
there's only
scoring.
one there's only one proactive combat event. No, two. There's one more planned ambush, and there's the Lucky Find. Plus, of course, Lose the Revenge, but Van Helsing can't do that, obviously.
I think Van Helsing's got like that horse. I think he's also got a heavenly host, and I don't know what his third is, but I feel like horse heavenly host would be my
I
guess.
guess it's a gun, because I mean, you discard a knife, and she almost certainly has one. So, and I would imagine that Seward likely picked one up. We don't know for sure, but yeah. So,
Scotsman's favorite part of the game.
yeah.
Combat screen. What's he doing?
That's good for MG.
Mm-hmm. I think blocking the plotting there is really important, though. Like, if he plays plotting there and you dodge, it's not very good for you. I like that punch quite a bit, even though it didn't work out.
Yeah. I definitely don't blame him for trying it. That's for sure.
Also makes me think he doesn't have a strength, because I feel like if you have strength there, you play
That'd be
it
what you
as a
do.
wing fight.
Yeah. Fangs. Escape. Okay, so the vampire in effect didn't take 8 damage, and Van Helsing took 4.
Mm-hmm. Not
Yeah,
bad.
so he's going to be horsing off of there.
Most likely.
If
Probably
nothing,
covering a port.
if nothing else, I'm not so sure about covering a port. I mean, I suppose it makes
What else
sense.
could he do? Like, if he's not covering a port, is he gonna go back to 54? Go to 8 maybe? I just feel like you want to limit the ports Dracula. Like now he has to go to either 31 or 12. So if you have a second renewed vigor, you can probably get 2 people there, depending on what your events are.
Yes, but keep in mind that we've only seen one fog so as of yet. So unless that is what he put at, unless that the fog is what he put at Varna and that got wiped by the aristocratic, uh, then the chances are rather high, or like there's at least a 50% chance that he has the other fog.
Well, right, but by moving to the port, even if he has fog, you still want to know where he is, right? I mean, because you're gonna have to try to get him. I mean, fog notwithstanding, like he might have fog, but if you don't try, you are letting him, in essence, play fog multiple times. Like you have to try. I think. I don't think that the hunters can just sit here and let him move around Spain. Ooh,
CG.
forcing him to not go to any of the ports or to move on to Van Helsing.
Okay, so Godalming has one, as we previously saw from the spy.
Mm-hmm. Seward.
Well, yeah, force him to move out of there. And Mina spent hers, so
Yeah, we haven't, and that one wasn't recovered by somebody. So, I mean, I guess Dracula. What does Dracula do here? Does he like?
I mean, especially since we only have 6 health left. I mean, 8 HL has already been spent, so that's not a threat.
I mean, Godalming's gonna move to Saragossa tomorrow, right? Like he's gonna check that. So if you move to Saragossa, you're gonna get found immediately, and he can probably get, like, even without renewed vigor, he can probably get 2 people there. If you don't move to Saragossa, though, the problem is anywhere else you go, you can't go back to Madrid because you can't misdirect it. You can't go to Cadiz because there's a rumor to it. So you're kind of forced to go through Saragossa at some point. So I feel like the only play is to go to Saragossa or to go into Van Helsing right now. And I don't really like either of those.
I think that... Yes, what would I do here? I think that... I might actually go Alicante. I know Mediterranean is still on the trail, but
where do you go after Alicante, right? Because you gotta move. You can't go back. Like you're gonna have to go to Saragossa. I feel like anyway.
I think that if you have the fog, you go to Alicante so that the fog is slightly more effective, and then you feed to buy a little bit of time.
Right, okay, so you go to Alicante today. That's the Thursday. Friday move you feed. Saturday move you hide. Sunday move. I mean, you can move or dark haul. It's whatever. But at that point, you're then forced to either go to Granada or go to Saragossa. And at that point, they're all going to be there, like in 3 or 4 days. They're just going to be sitting on Saragossa and or possibly Granada. Although they
yeah, yes, but considering that the tokens will fade, most of them, of course.
Madrid's still going to be blocked though because you will form there, right? Like Madrid might as well be tokened because you're not going to be able to move through it. So I feel that's why I feel like you got to go to Saragossa, otherwise you just get trapped.
Yeah, I think that Saragossa is probably the correct move.
No renewed vigor is good though. That's a good call.
Well, I don't think that it would really make any difference right now. I suppose it would be able to get Mina in, but with Van Helsing as weak as he is, I mean, any damaging encounter that goes off, like a mob, wolves, uh, and I'm not sure if we've seen any wolves yet. We've seen one mob, but, uh,
Nope, no wolves have been seen.
not yet. So, so something like an AoE damaging encounter is not all that unlikely. So,
Well, that's why I'm glad Mina can't get in, right? Because if you can only get in with Van Helsing and Godalming, like you said, Van Helsing's pretty weak. If you can get Mina there, I feel like it's dead. Dracula's just gone. So I think that no reason bigger than
not
Mina
necessarily.
I mean, maybe if he has fog, and he fogs Mina, Mina doesn't have forewarned. Sure, he gets out of Saragossa. But then the problem is the fog goes away, and the next turn he's in the same situation, and all three of them are going to be one space away from him.
Yes, but it'll be a guessing game of where he went.
Okay, I guess in game between 54 and 47, right? Because you're not going
Or
four.
4.
Well, right, you're not going to go to 4, though, right? I mean, if you go to 4, you're in the same spot as Alicante. I suppose you have wasted time, and the med will eventually come off the trail, but... Oh,
Yeah.
Check Saragossa, right? It would be crazy if we're not checking Saragossa. And he is there, okay. He's not going to play the thing.
Not yet. My guess is that it's a wax. That's a wolves or a
He's
mob.
analyzing. I think it's a fog. It's a wolves. Okay.
Yeah. He wants to get Van Helsing in one claw range, so that he can just knock him out. If he tries to gang up.
Well, I don't think Van Helsing has forewarned. Because I think if Van Helsing had forewarned, he would just have run in there, no care in the world. The analyze makes me think he doesn't have forewarned. He wanted to see if it was a fog, so he wouldn't get trapped. And now that he sees it's a wolves, will he go in, or will he just cover 47?
I mean, the fact that he's hesitating at all says that he doesn't. That Van Helsing isn't holding one. Yes.
Friendly, but they're not friendly. They're friendly for now. I think if Van Helsing showed up, they would not be friendly.
Well. Yeah, and that's precisely why mob or wolves is the best thing to put there. Have you looked at what?
With rabies?
What?
Yeah.
Amusing. So now,
You don't even move, right? You just sit there. Like, do you just like leave Van Helsing there? You move me to 54, and then like whatever. As long as he doesn't escape his bat in this combat, you have him trapped right where he has to go to Barcelona.
Either that or to Alicante, where you may be able to dissuade one or two of the hunters from checking, or one of them guesses wrong, so there aren't as many of them on you that particular day.
I suppose that's true. Maybe you just want to kill them today, now that you know there's
Yeah, this is like the... This is kind of where... This is the type of situation I find myself in all the time. Strider, you recall, all back on that, back on that game, Strider said that, where I best is Strasser, he says that I tend to try to end up outsmarting myself by trying to be, by tricky in something, and so something along those lines. Okay, yeah, invoking. Okay, so he did have it, but he wasn't sure he wanted to use it on something like that.
I see.
It's the thing.
Fog maybe, like wanted to save for the fog, but instead he's betting he's gonna win this fight. Because now, if Dracula lives, he can.
Yeah, if Dracula lives, he can move. But the problem is, one thing we know for certain is that he is not going to survive this fight with enough health to go to sea. Especially with that.
That's not good. Yeah, that's not good.
Because both of the, well, no, it's Godalming and Seward that have the Heavenly Hosts. Van Helsing doesn't have one. But
what do? You fang Godalming? Because if you don't fang Godalming, you're taking 4 from him.
Yes, but let me see. How would I approach this? What do we know about Van Helsing's hand and Godalming? Godalming we know, in addition to his horse and heavenly host, what else does he have? I'm not sure if we know that one.
Steak? He's a steak. I don't know if he's had the time to supply. So,
I think they spent that stake at some point or another.
did he? He was fogged in Bologna, and then he immediately started going west. I don't know if he ever spent that stake.
Well, if it's still stake, then yes, just and on top of everything else, there's an Aggie here, so yeah. So you got a thing goes on because then if that Heavenly Host hits you, you won't even be able to escape from this combat. In fact, I think that there's just too much. I think that this will likely be the end of the game.
Maybe you just strength Van Helsing because you know that you're gonna take the fort. Like if you fang him and he just dodges. Let's say he can then play Heavenly Host like.
Yeah, I think that actually the best thing to do is strength, it's strength Van Helsing, and then, or actually claw Van Helsing first. He'll be expecting that to happen second.
He does not have a Heavenly Host? I'm confused. Why are you banging him? Did you forget that he didn't have a Heavenly Host? Oh, maybe his hand was bad. Maybe his hand was bad. He seems to know that it's bad.
Yeah, and
Oh,
yep,
yeah,
that's
he knows
it.
He has yeah, he knows he has Heavenly Host. Yeah, that's why I say. That makes sense.
Gee, well played both. I mean, that's a win for. That's a solid. I'm not sure why I didn't target Gul'daming instead. That is a good point, but but it is what it is. So that's a rather solid Hunter victory. For Scott Sword. Yeah. And yeah, I think what was it that really went wrong? I think what would have been better is if he had simply, the moment that Heroic Leap hit him, was just try to hit the center of the map, because you've seen the sorts of things that can happen in that maze of corridors, and at the time, at least, they still had more trail to deal with, and more likely they would have thought that they would have possibly missed a few, wasted a few days just missing them. I think that the correct thing to do is go up the corridor to Munich, and wait to actually do the wolf form until you can wolf form over Munich, and or wolf form to Munich, or from whatever. It's definitely complicated. That this was definitely a very rough game, as Scotsford definitely played that very well, as he almost always does. So it's definitely difficult to say.
For sure. Yeah, close game.
Yeah. Definitely a good game. I'm not sure I would call it all that close, unfortunately. It's possible that he might have wanted it, since he knew that I think here's what he should have done. He should have, for his wolf horn ashore, he should have gone to Granada. Normally that's a nuke spot, but Mina had just spent a Heavenly Host, yes? So go there while you can. I think that was his mistake.
Well, the problem is if he gets found there, right? He can still get CG'd back to Alicante, and at that point, that permanent token will probably be in Madrid instead of I feel like that leads to bad options as well if he gets found. I guess the question is, does Scott sort of check it with Van Helsing after does he check that, or does he check Saragossa?
I mean, Van Helsing was sitting at Saragossa, but keep in mind that he also had the option to wolf form over Marseille to Zurich, Geneva, things like that. So wolf form from Med is not easy to decipher, and Geneva I think might have been the last thing he would have expected.
Definitely close to a lot of options there for sure.
So I think that would have been the best way to obfuscate what you were up to.
It's definitely an option for sure.
So if you know that they can't nuke you with a CG, take advantage of it. Don't bother going for what you would normally do if there was the threat of it. But since he at least should have known that that was not a threat, then take advantage of the fact.
Yeah, to take in a lot of factors, you gotta think about for sure.
Yeah. The tournament pressure definitely makes it harder to think of it on the moment. But I think that might have given him more options in the long haul.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for playing this game. So the players are both busy
My pleasure.
filling out their post-game forms as we speak.
Yeah, which they had to do immediately, as Snuff says. Which, speaking of Snuff, folks, later tonight, Peace Wizard will be playing against Snuff in Peace.
7 hours, 6.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry to the Europeans, but
Yeah. Sorry. Look. We tried to play a time you could watch, and it's my fault. So you can direct all your complaints to me. I will take them and put them somewhere in the complaint box that I read it every night. Definitely don't just throw it away. But you can submit it right there.
Yeah, but yeah,